Good morning. I decided to wear my glasses today. My eyeballs will thank me. Will thank me later. Hope everyone's doing well today. Today, I wanted to talk about relationships. But isn't that what the whole world is about in the first place? Relationship to our money, relationship to ourselves, to our parents, to our possessions, relationships between uh, objects, ideas. Relationships is really all anything's about. If you don't know about relationships, goddamn, get on the bus, build a raft. Why am I clipping the last letter off of my words this morning? Must have been those 2 fireballs last night. Yeah. So relationships. Personally, I've never found anyone like me. Not knowingly, face to face. Never dated anyone like me. Anyone that, yeah, I don't even know how to put it. It has a lot to do with insecurity and what that means. I don't know, maybe in some way, like there's this joke, this inside joke, about being blind, um, which is actually a great blessing in my life, growing up and being moved around a lot, and so being stuck in a hermit phase whenever you move to a new place or whenever you're waiting to move because the place you live in, whenever you want to get away from that place or something you did there, or I don't know, this idea of being separate and together with everyone at the same time, where yeah, sure, I treat anybody with open arms at the same time as I don't know or need anybody, um, has given me an interesting life perspective. Um, and it's taken most of my life to see that there is a difference between myself and others, even though at the same time I've always and still profess that everyone's equal and intrinsically the same. Pomegranate tea, it's good stuff. Oh man, glasses. Well, so what most people thinking about childhood and high school and maybe college and uh, these different stages of relationships and how, like as kids, maybe you want to please your parents, or and so then when they're like, oh, it looks stupid if you do it like that. If you do your hair like that, it looks stupid, and then you get this insecurity, or and the same goes with your friends and relationships. Period. We allow ourselves to be molded based upon seeking attention, or whether we're seeking it or not, based upon the input that everyone else gives off in our direction. But the funny thing is, uh, all the people that are doing that are all insecure. If they have negative things to say in most cases. I mean, most people aren't like, well, your hair looks stupid when it's purple, but I don't give a fuck. I'll still walk around with you. I just wanted you to know I think you look like an idiot, but you're my favorite idiot. Now that's love. And that's very different from the kind of feedback the world gives us. And this molds people, obviously. Thinking about stars are very much trapped in an infantile, extremely mature, abridged version of that, where their entire career is driven by insecurity and has to look secure somehow. Either I'm strong regardless of what I went through, or look, I'm beautiful, but hey, do you like my quirkiness? Like, I don't know. Each star has their niche, I guess. But ultimately, once you get in that boat, you're tied together with so many other things, and this overwhelming feeling of letting everyone down comes back to insecurity, because it's about yourself. And if you're doing what you love and it's genuine, the right people will be there. It doesn't matter if there's 5 people or 5 million. The amount of people that appreciate you and the reason why matters a lot. But the amount of the numbers have nothing to do with anything at all. And I found in relationships, being the way that I am or have turned out, I've never needed anyone to take care of me. In fact, I'd say that I've been married twice legally and twice common law. However, like, because of the situation, it wasn't just dating, because if there's children involved or certain things, like, I don't know, I can and have dated around an open dating where I was going on several dates each week with different girls and such. And also, I'm serial monogamous, Um, keeping in your pants is where it's at, either way. But of the 4 marriages that I would say, I always had to hold the roof up. Like, without a relationship, I always take care of my life once a week. The laundry, the litter. Well, the litter box more than once a week, that's for sure. Vacuum, clean everything up, bathroom. Uh-oh. What are you doing, Tigger? Anyway, and so I'm really independent. I like an orderly house, and I'd like not to have to worry about it. If somebody comes in at any time, as messy as it could be, if it was messy, it's because I'm in the middle of something. Like, we walk in and there's a tarp out on the floor and all these paints and paintings, all sitting in the fans going. Well, obviously, we're painting. It's not a mess. I'm in the middle of work, and then as soon as I'm done with the work, then poof, the room's back to normal. I've never needed to rely on anyone, but that it was also set me up, ironically, and because of my good nature, to end up with fixer-uppers. Sometimes knowingly and chosen, and other times kind of accidentally fell in there. Well, The interesting thing is, because of my nature, and how I don't like talking good on myself. I guess that's weird, right? I don't like what the point is that. See, that shows a kind of confidence. Like, it doesn't really, I don't get it either, but people are afraid to compliment me. But when they do or whatever, especially if they get all sappy, I'm just like, all right, I'm just not, okay, okay, thanks. You can quit now. Let's talk about something else. But being semi attractive and naturally driven, hardworking, regardless of whether I have a job or not. Um, it's about this driven aspect where I'll be learning every day, regardless, or like actual some kind of studying or some kind of scientific observation of the world, or there always has to be development in my life. At the same time, it's all like stability, which is why I don't own a dog. I got cats. It's like the commercial says. Yeah, I like dogs. I just like other people's dogs because I don't like the kind of energy in my space. Exactly. Tigger's enough. She's getting freshening up for the day. Well, so I found it extremely difficult to. Oh, I want to finish that thought. So then, but because I've never really cared about money, and I've grown up from lower class, and all the money that I get was spent on books for knowledge, drugs for personal experience, um, and some kinds of trinket sort of items here and there. Like, Jesus Christ, spray shit right off the back. I think it's a rock. Like our tiger eye eagle I picked up for my birthday. Since I sold off most of my spiritual stuff over last summer, like boatloads of it, I had all kinds of beads, necklaces. Some were actual like aquamarines from India, and I had all these eggs, carnelian, and so on and so forth. Gorgeous items, but it's what's here that counts, right? But so having all these great qualities, I suppose, and then being blind to other people's perception and seeing everyone else as an equivalent in a sense. I was in it with people that are actually a couple grades below me. Uh, in I don't know if we wanted to put a dollar value on somebody. I don't know, a couple classes below somebody that would be equal, and they would be trying to and believing in their own mind that they were helping and nurturing me into becoming what I was meant to be. They were giving me my wings, Yeah, fucking right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I believe, that important part of being whole in oneself is knowing that whether you had all the money in the world, the fancy house, the car, even if you had the face or the body, I mean, if you didn't have any of it, either way, it wouldn't change who you were. And then nobody walking up to you, and no matter how many degrees, no matter how much money, no matter how many fans, can stand on anything but their own 2 feet and upon their own tongue and their own eyeball contact. That's actual confidence. That everyone has and can possess. Because there is no higher or lower. All that stuff is an illusion. Sure, it's an illusion that makes things look nice from on the inside and nice from the outside, but does it really do anything if it's just for show? If it's just to say, look, I did it. At the same time, well, for one, I mean, I suppose we should have goals in every category, including financial goals. But ultimately, if your goal is about a monetary figure, that's actually a pretty low goal. That's like, in a sense, that's like the easiest goal. It seems like the hardest one, right? But if you wanted to, if your goal was to make $1 million, then the first thing you do is you get a job and you live like a minimalist because you don't care about anything else other than the dollar amount. You take all that money and you'd save it all and you diversify it and you multiply it and you'd feed it into itself and then you'd have that dollar amount. But okay, that's stupid when everybody wants $1 million but they're not willing to do the work for it. And if they're like, and if that's their goal is the dollar amount, then the limitation is that usually that's a shallow person that cares equally about stuff as a representation of their value. Which I wanted to get into this. This is actually looping back around to dating, right? I don't know what the hell everybody's problem is. It should be, see, you know, we live in America and everybody's got freedom of speech and everybody knows everything. And everybody's just so smart. And if you weren't smart, you could just be like, 1 second, Google Translate, or this person asked me this question. Oh, here's the answer. Okay. But for one, either people are, let's see how to put this. Why can't you just see somebody of an interest and then walk over to them and be like, hey, you caught my eye. Would you want to go out and have coffee or go over a 30-minute walk in the park? Just hang out, chat, whatever. And instantly everybody acts like they just got a thumb stuck up their butt. It's like, Jim, I got, seeing somebody, I gotta go. What the fuck? Man, I'd hate to see what's gonna happen, what it looks like when you're like, oh, I want this one. Oh, yeah, here's my legs. Right. That's pretty insecure. And that's usually like how it is. But everybody's afraid to talk to somebody unless they're going to get something out of it. Or they block themselves with the fear of that they might get something out of it. Or there might be, somebody might expect something. But what's the fear in that? It's just called open your mouth and use your words. What is there to hide? Not a goddamn thing. You tell the truth. And nobody's too busy to go sit for 30 minutes and have a cup of coffee and with somebody, stranger or not. Most people are sucking their thumbs 12 hours a day. And that includes 8 hours of work. People would rather look at the TV for 30 minutes and zone out on something that means nothing and has no connection to anyone or anything that costs them money for no reason. You know, that sounds like a pretty fucking shitty date to me. And that's a date that people like. Nobody wants to talk to somebody, not unless they can use them. And that's the way it looks, especially in the dating world. As a confident man, the only reason any woman would talk to us because she wants something, and because she thinks that you might make her look good. Because, well, you don't want to bring a loser home to the parents. Oh wait, but that's what they all do. What the fuck? They all do. They bring their loser home to their parents. They can't ever bring someone and be like, hey, you know, here's my guy. And it's so funny. Like, if a girl's like, oh, I like this one. You know, the spirit just gets her. She's like, because he's a bad boy. Maybe he's a fucking geek, nerd, whatever. Same boat, doesn't matter. And she's like, oh, my parents ain't like this. I don't give a fuck. What's you gonna do with it? Oh, but when it actually comes to the guy that matters, I don't know. I talked to my girlfriends about it. There's this guy. Yeah, he was looking at me. I'm afraid he's gonna talk to me, but I can't talk to him. Oh, Jesus. My guy's gonna be like, Person looked at me a couple times. Hey, do I know you? No? Well, you caught my eye, and I saw you looking at me a couple times. You want to chat? You got some time? Or does that turn into, oh, I got a boy. I'm waiting for somebody. I don't know. I have to ask my mom. I don't know. Just being facetious. But honestly, what the fuck is wrong? If people can't communicate all the time, then what good is they going to be in a relationship? So, I kind of have a similar philosophy and feeling is, well, most women who are over the age of 35, I don't want a guy that I have to fucking pick up after, do his laundry, do his dishes, provide him with his dope, beer, whatever the case is, pay all the fucking bills. Or he just wants me to sit at home, so nobody can get to me. So I'm his diamond in the rough. Well, I'm bored as hell. And he goes out, goes on lunch dates, works late. Says, well, you have a roof over your head. There's food in the fridge. I have a phone, you can text me. I probably won't answer, but I don't want a woman I have to babysit. A balanced, strong relationship with two confident people has clear-cut communication, both on the emotional side, but ultimately, because of the confidence, most of it ends up being like stable traffic controller, where, well, you know, I'm doing this and this today, and you got those things. Why don't we get together 6, you know, for dinner or whatever? Yeah, okay. And there's nothing ever to hide about where one's going. Well, and each person is secure in themselves and their own finances at the same time as building something together, separately and together, and together separately. And it ain't gonna work if anybody's still hooked up with their ex for other parties of the opposite sex as their best friend and stuff like that. Strong people tend to spend time alone. So do wise people. It's not saying that social people who are more social don't have those characteristics, but if you spend too much time with other people and gossiping about what this person is doing, that person's doing, and who the fuck cares, then it trains the brain to be a manipulator and to think about, oh, this one. Would you say that I'm a 7 or an 8? But if I put highlights on my hair, do you think I'd be an 8.5? You know, like, where does this fucking scale come from? I know from being married or in any committed relationship that, in a way, in one aspect, doesn't matter what she looks like. That faithfulness and that loving look in her eyes, and people change, especially a woman's body. A woman's body's like the earth, you know, it swells and it shrinks, and it, days the legs didn't get shaved and days they did, and so on and so forth. And that has nothing to do with love. And all that stuff is easy to accept, you know, when there's truth and virtue in a relationship and in a companionship. At the same time, I also find that as soon as people get in a committed relationship, one of the insecure things that people do is they let their ass go. They let their own self go, which just sets both parties up to be unsatisfied. Because if you're not satisfied with yourself and you only get in a relationship just so you can not care, I don't know how that makes any sense. It doesn't. And then to blame, well, you know, I put on all this weight because the way he treated me. Well, we've all been in negative relationships we stuck with, but at the same time, that is highly, highly insecure, void of self-value, and is much higher value regardless whether you have any support or not. To be willing to sleep in a cardboard box and around the corner from the restaurant that you just got a job at, and maybe in the first week you'll meet somebody that you can use their place for a shower every other day and work your way up from there, than it is to be with completely taken care of with somebody that makes you feel like shit, or that gives you the opportunity, if you feel that like you ever had one, where you could let yourself go and blame them about it. I don't know. These relationship conversations for the day. Since it seems like mating season and the birds and the bees and all that, and change is in the air right now. Personally, it's been is it 4 or 5 years since I had a relationship. This month. I've only had sex twice in that time. And I'm a freak. In order to develop, one has to spend time by themselves. Because even though it's great to have somebody of the opposite sex, and sex is great, ultimately, Man, that's a lot of work for 5 minutes worth of enjoyment. I mean, it doesn't matter if it lasts 2 hours or if it lasted 30 seconds. I mean, we all know what masturbation can solve. Save you a hell of a lot of time. I'll tell you that much. I mean, just to send her a text and wait for the reply, you could already got your rocks off and be focusing on some real goals in life. Rather than ruining yours and getting somebody else to be the hand in the cookie jar that you could blame about it. Yeah, let's pull some cards. We're at 30-40. Today we get, since this is our love reading, today is a love reading, just a general love reading. We have Lakshmi. That's a good consort. Lady of prosperity. That's who I want to be married to. Oh wait, I already am. The queen of my heart. The goddess of abundance. I choose to feel abundant. Wealth is an inside job. Amen to that. That goes along exactly with what we were just discussing. I just can't get it back into painting lately. I don't have space, and I hate that I gotta drag everything out every time. I don't have any real concepts. I mean, I do and I don't. I just feel like, and sometimes that's the joy of painting, I find. Of all the arts or whatever, I find that painting is the most frustrating thing in the world because it's not like blocks where you can just stack, okay, and here's the structure. It's not like letters where there is an order or a meaning behind. Painting is it's layers and it's perspective and it's about lighting and it's about orientation and it really isn't about a goddamn thing. It's what is it about? I mean, it's one thing. You know, you painted this gorgeous rose. Wow, you know, that's a beautiful portrayal of a rose. Yeah, thanks. But then you get something that's like emotional and just raw and it, or maybe in how it was created. Like you can just feel the chaos or the emotion in the piece, regardless of whether it portrays anything or not. And sometimes it's all about the colors or the pattern. And so it's like finger painting in the dark with black for me. I don't know. I find that very simple things of it are beauty, like how you just have a blank canvas and just load up your brush with paint and just, oh, bam, hit it one time, and then the way that it splatters and the mark it leaves behind, boom, there's a perfect piece. One shot, one kill. That nature, I mean, that's the idea behind the splatter paintings and such. Oh, nature, God does it by itself. Yeah, but that's not art. It is art, but it's not art. It's like AI art from humans. Put on a blindfold. And whatever happens, happens. Ah, it's wonderful. Only if I could try to do something on purpose, even if it looked like shit. If only I could try. And so I try. My paintings are very different from one another. And they're usually in groups of three to six that have a similar kind of nature or content. But each one is like a gradient into the next one and the next one. And so in the series, you could take every fifth one and it looks like a different artist did it. Maybe. I don't know. So I find painting very much a creative frustration that I enjoy a little bit. Well, I'm not really feeling into the cards today, you know. I just want to talk about relationships. It's so hard to get a date. Well, as far as relationships, she tells us that wealth is the inside job. Knowing you're worthy, that you're worthy and your own value, which is beyond value. It can't be quantified if you know the truth of yourself. If you can put a number on it, then you got a ways to go still. But so wealth is an inside job. So she's reminding us to always feel and know that we're our best self and always getting better. Don't listen to other people. Listen to yourself. And that can be tricky because the self and the voice in our head, especially the negative ones, in most cases, almost in every case, we heard somebody else say that to somebody or to us, or maybe just on TV in passing. And then that thought turns around and it goes, oh, but am I ugly? Do I do that? Do you think that's disgusting? Am I disgusting? You know? Am I a bad person? That's not, that is the weaker side of intuition. The side that the world gives us that is confused and innocent and ignorant. But that's the part that the ego has to hold on to. On the low end, on the high end, it fakes it and it goes, look, I got the best skin out of everybody I know. Yeah, I got good skin. Oh, yeah, my eyesight's better than 2020. Yeah. You know what? I did the high jump in high school. I broke the school record. First try. First track meet. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. But it's just as shallow, you know, as the negative side of that of, am I pretty enough? You know, do I have enough to offer someone? We listen to true intuition. It's going to be similar to both of those, but neither. Where even if there's a situation that where a comparison is being made in our mind between another situation and ours, or between us and somebody else, that can be used, you know, to gain knowledge from. But all of it means nothing because there is no comparison. And hindsight's 2020. So if you ask somebody before they did something, why? And you ask somebody in the middle of it, or you ask somebody right after, or you ask somebody in a year, why? And you ask somebody in 5 years, why? You're going to get absolutely different answers. And the weirdest things is in the 5 years, down the road, 20 years, the things that matter the most and that stick out the most are the littlest, oddest things. And the things that we held on so long, like they were so crushing, those are nothing, and we're the only one perpetuating them for no goddamn reason at all. Other than the ego needed something to stand on top of and lay down underneath in order to find its own self-worth. So we got the guardian angel. So this has to do with true love, the love of oneself. And it takes two people that come from that place wholeheartedly, knowingly, and freely willing. With open understanding. I don't know. I'm lost for words. They're all just running through my head. They were never alone. If we can find our own value and love in ourselves, then who couldn't enjoy our company? Let's get a house, a planet, and a sign from the karma cards today. That's weird. All the house cards ended up here, and all the planet cards ended up here. Groups. Here's planet. We have Mercury. Well, that's a good communicative. Relationships are all about communication. Ooh, we got the 11th house. House of connections, of freedom, association, and friends. So that's our communication and networking. I messed that up. God dang you, Scorpio. Was looking for you right now. Oh, we got Mercury in Aquarius in the 11th house. So we got communication, creativity, and spiritual dream aspects, and associations and connections. Perfectly go together when we're talking about relationships. There's nothing really to pull off of those other than it looks like she's building us each reading I look at as an eternal temple that materializes and evaporates. Each one is its own temple. And all from broken messages. But when the conversation begins, or what it has to do with, the cards that come up, there usually doesn't really have to be really an explanation. The truth becomes clear. And I was fine that we already knew that anyway. But looking at it repeatedly, it takes a long time to set in. Let's take this one. Holy crap. Ah, now the cards falling out everywhere. Okay. We're going to take it. She gave us 2 huge stacks and 1. So we're going to start with a 1. We got courage. The reddest card in that deck, probably. Sign of Aries. Fortune favors the bold. Right. You can't walk up to somebody and say hello. Ain't gonna get very far. Especially in relationships. Because you're gonna have to communicate, and there's gonna be difficult things that have to be communicated. There's no need to beat what's beating around the bush. It's always life and death, in a sense, when you're tethered with somebody else. And so there needs to be a sense of peace and trust and understanding, because there is so much at stake with every thought and action and belief when 2 people are tethered together in a relationship. even just as friends, especially the more often you spend time together. Bravery in the face of fear, the will to confront pain, difficulty, or danger. Don't be a victim. Don't don't blame the past. Those are lessons. We chose the relationship we were in, and apparently it chose us too. And we accepted. And we stayed until forced to, or we decided to leave. So, holding on to the negativity that we felt from a parting in a relationship and trying to knock down that person really doesn't get us anywhere. It's just the ego wrapped up in a wet paper bag and in a straitjacket, and all it does is beat itself up and cry like a baby for attention because it's afraid to give itself attention. That's the victim mentality where you need other people's support, otherwise you don't have support. But that victim mentality, those people or a person in that state, usually whenever they're not manipulating other people to feel sorry for them or to lift them up, and whenever they're alone, that's when the ego is in full effect, and they're sitting there running their wheels, thinking about how they're going to get power and the power that they have, and how they're going to run the ship on empty. So then, ooh, that's crazy. The other two are, ironically, we have, I covered it up here. We got synergy and we got intensity, but we have Gemini, Scorpio, Gemini. Is that right? Yeah. I don't know why. It's a brain fart sometimes. Like Cancer, looks like Pisces, and Pisces looks like an H, but it's two fish. And Scorpio is an M with the stinger, and then Virgo is an M with a fish built into it. But Scorpio is a water sign, so you'd think you'd have the arrow, or it would be the fish. And the arrow, see, is air, arrow. You would think that the arrow of Scorpio M would be on Virgo. Well, Virgo is an earth sign, but if anything, you'd think that they made sure everything's broken. Let's just say that. So that there's this learning process. If it makes too much sense right up front, then the mind doesn't have to, the subconscious especially, doesn't have to do any goddamn work. And all the work is inner work. Anyway, guess I'm feeling a little off today. A problem shared. This is perfect for this relationship conversation. A problem shared is a trouble halved. Interaction of two or more agents working mutually towards a goal. That is a relationship, a working one. Courage, synergy, and intensity. The show must go on. High degree of force, energy, or feeling, passionate expression. I'm going to put up these other 7 cards. We're not going to look at them. And it's interesting how this bounces perfectly. Say we got Aries, all alone. V is the red one in the center. We got Gemini, Scorpio. And we got Scorpio, Gemini. Beautiful. I love symmetry. She likes to do it for me. Well, let's pull a rune. Yeah, it's interesting having such deep conversations with oneself all the time. And then having to talk to everyone else still by oneself. And having to go around and find your messages. And then go in the corner and talk to yourself. Isn't this a funny process? Then everybody has access to your conversation anytime they want to. Friends and foes and yeah. Well, that strikes fear in most people. Oh my God, if somebody could see my texts, I don't want anybody to get in my phone or whatever. Why? What are you hiding? Man, every single time for like the last 5 times I pulled runes, I either get, holy shit, look, it's the bottom. I get one of 3 cards. Ingas, XX. When I pulled, oh, it's XX side. It is the sigil of Saturn. Holy crap. Safety and protection. Yeah. Wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. Let's get it on. And then what's the other one? Safety, protection, Ingas, and there was another one that I always keep pulling. Oh yeah, it's this one. Peace and harmony. And it's the same but different. It's like inside out, missing a line. There's only 3 cards in this whole friggin' deck. Yeah, how many times I shuffle, I still get the same card every time. So I find odd. Anyway. See, the odds of that are nearly impossible. You have, I don't know, 30 cards. You shuffle them 5 times or more every time. And out of those 30 cards and the random shuffling, that there could be any odds that pulling only 1 or 2 cards every time that you would get the same card 2 out of 5 times. 3 out of 5? It's unlikely. Because of this mathematical odds of, like, say, 52 factorial states that there's more combinations in a deck of 52 cards than there's atoms in the universe. Seems impossible, huh? It's true. So, when you have a deck of 120 states of being and emotions, you got 30 runes, you got 12 houses, speaking of Uranus and water, when you combine all these cards, you find it's impossible that the same things would repeat themselves. But it happens. And people don't think the mind and magic are real. 5505. Wealth is an inside job. I guess it's a good time to end. Maybe we'll have something to talk about later today. We'll see. Have a good day.